Are you in customer service or receptionist, and you're looking for something different to get into, or you're looking to upscale your career, trying to find out how you can make a little bit more money or even make a lot more money? Stick around. This video is just for you. Welcome back to another video on the power of the BI. Welcome back to another video on the power of the BI. It's another Power of Money Monday, and today I am going to sit back and I am only talking to my customer service people and my receptionists, my customer service people and my receptionists. So we're a little bit different today, but if you're here, that's because you are in customer service or you are a receptionist and you're trying to figure out, how can I make just a little bit more money? Or what can I do to increase my skill set? Now, I hate to say make a little bit more money because, a little bit is relative and a lot is relative. But at the end of the day, what we are looking at is a six-figure career, a six-figure receptionist, a six-figure customer service representative. So you say, Tarad, what are you really talking about? How can I make six figures as a receptionist or as a customer service person, unless I am an administrative person, an administrative assistant with probably a master's degree in college or a PhD or something like that. And I'm here to tell you that that is not what I am here to talk about. I am not talking about going to school and getting, 10 more years of education. At the end of the day, what we're thinking of here in 2025, not just here in Texas or in the United States, but around the world, where is AI going? Now, this is not a trick. This is not a trap for you to, sign up for something to learn AI, artificial intelligence, because you're probably thinking to yourself, I don't really know anything about artificial intelligence. I'm really not tech savvy. I can use ChatGPT to look things up or to get some questions answered. But outside of that, that's where I am. And what I'm going to tell you is, if that's your mindset, that's a problem. If that's your mindset, that's a problem, because artificial intelligence is here to stay. But I'm not here talking about artificial intelligence. I'm talking about business intelligence. I'm talking about business intelligence. You, as customer service reps or receptionists, are more often than not taken for granted, right? The work that you put in, the things that you do, it's just simply taken for granted. How do I know? I mean, I've worked not as a receptionist, but I've worked as an account manager before, or inside account manager. And, very similar to a customer service rep, doing some of the same work. I believe the quota system that I was on was probably a little bit different. The product side that I was delivering or selling was probably just a little bit different, but not all the way. I mean, whatever the business is, the business is. The business core product is the business core product. But I do understand that administrative assistants and, well, not necessarily administrative assistants, but customer service reps and receptionists in general is a profession that's really taken for granted. And what I do know is, again, artificial intelligence is here to stay. But at the same time, what we're really focusing, what we're really moving towards is business intelligence. Now, we're not at the cusp of BI today. A lot of organizations are using business intelligence. Many organizations are not using business intelligence. Everybody at this point is some way or another is using artificial intelligence. And eventually the artificial intelligence is going to meet the business intelligence. And in some cases, the artificial intelligence and the business intelligence are interacting. But in most cases, the artificial intelligence, business intelligence is not really crossing paths as of yet. What I want you to understand is you can upscale, not upscale, but you can upskill yourself. You can upskill your knowledge by simply learning business intelligence. Now, you may say, listen, I'm not very tech savvy. I don't really know a whole lot of code. I didn't go to school for coding. As a matter of fact, the best I can do is answer the phone and redirect the message. And the one thing I can guarantee you is that's going to be a problem, right? That's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem faster than you believe. The other day, I made a phone call to. So I have a rental car business that I run on the side. Not anything huge, but I have a rental car business, and I was looking for a place to park my cars. I'm looking to up my fleet to, from where I am to maybe 20 or 30 cars. And there's a parking garage that actually sells or rents out space for fleets, could be fleets or whatever type of vehicles you have. But I made a phone call to this parking garage in order to see if I can come by and look at the garage, if I could, get an idea of what rates would look like and those sorts of things. And I was on the phone, and the person was like, "Hello, this is such and such parking garage," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So I gave my spiel, and I told told the person who I was, and then it asked me, what locations you're looking for. So I gave him the location I was looking for, and asked me would I also be interested in another location that was fairly close to the location that I was interested in. And I was like, yeah, I said I'm interested in that location as well. And then they asked me, how many vehicles do I think how many vehicles do I have, or what are the size of the vehicles that I have, so that they could get some idea of what that really looked like as far as what the rates would be. So I threw that out there, and they said, okay, well, cool. Say, well, we've, based on your the number of vehicles and the size of the rates, the size of the vehicles, the width and the length, we think that you probably would fit better here. These are the rates that we have for these different type of garage bays, and asked would I would like to come by and take a look and visit the facility. And I said, yeah. So I'm going back and forth. I'm talking. Well, at the end of the day, probably, I'm probably about 7 minutes into the conversation before I realized I'm really not talking to a human. I'm talking to a bot, whether it's a robot, a chat bot, or answer machine bot, whatever kind of bot you want to call it. I'm talking to a bot. And this person this thing has pretty much sold me on what I'm looking for. And at that point, I'm like, wow. Even good customer service is coming to an end sooner or later, right? Just as, if you go into some of the major grocery stores and you get a buggy full of groceries, and there's no checkers at the aisle. All of the aisles are not necessarily self-service, but it is self-checkout. So I'm like, wow, customer service is really going out the window, not just on the phone, but even in the stores in person, boom, 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 whoop-de-whoop. So with that said, I'm sure that you are a great customer service person. I'm sure that you are a great receptionist, just by the simple fact that you're on this video right now and you're saying, hey, I want to do what I can to upskill myself so that I don't get lost in the shuffle. And the one way that you can upskill yourself to not get lost in the shuffle is to move your skill set more on to the tech side, to learning more tech of what is going to be required of your position. So then you say again, Tarai, I don't do tech, I don't do coding, and I don't do this and I don't do that. And what I'm saying is, it's not just you, it's not just your business, it's not just your position. It's every business, it's every position. So it is you, okay? You have got to upskill yourself to the intelligence side, the business intelligence side of whatever you do. Now, I am not well, I'm not gonna say well, probably not. I am not well traveled internationally. I've been to several countries, but I don't just go to a country every other month. And I can't tell you the names of fine foods and fine wines and fine drinks that are associated with these countries. And no matter if I go outside the United States and they don't speak English, 9 times out of 10, I'm not able to speak what they speak. Okay, regardless of where we go. With that said, when it comes to tech, there are some other languages that you need to know. Everyone needs to be bilingual and probably trilingual. I don't mean that you need to know that you need to be proficient in every language or every computer language, or even proficient in the additional computer languages that you know. But just as when I go to other countries, if I need to go to the bathroom, I need to be able to ask that particular person, that native person, hey, where is the bathroom? Can you show me where the bathroom is? Where is the airport? Can you direct me to the airport? Where is the men's room? Maybe even order certain types of food off the menu. The basic necessities of what I need to know in order to survive, the survival skills of language that I need to have in those countries, we are going to have in order to upskill ourselves, we've got to have some additional languages that we need to know. Now, just as when we know these languages, know this necessary information when we visit other countries, there's only certain information, there's only certain parts of the languages, there's only certain levels of the language that you may need to know. For instance, in Power BI, we use the primary language that we use in Power BI is DAX. I think it's data analytic expressions, right? That's the name of the language, DAX, DAX. Now, do you need to know everything about DAX? No, you do need to know the very basics of DAX, and you need to know the origins of DAX that come from SQL. That comes from SQL. So therefore, you do need to know some SQL, primarily the basics of SQL. You've got to know some SQL, you've got to know some DAX, and you've got to know some Python. You don't necessarily have to know Python, but Python is good to know when it comes to integrating artificial intelligence into DAX here in the very near future. Into Power BI here in the very near future. But for the most part, you don't have to know a whole lot of Python. You just need to know the Python that's associated with Power BI, right? You don't have to know everything about DAX, but you need to know enough about DAX to where you know the basics of the structure of the language so that you'll know what you need to know. If you know what you know, you will know what you don't know. And then you'll know how to get what you don't know. Now, that may sound a little confusing, but it's facts, right? You don't, even with the English language, I don't even use the English language to perfection. Hell, I don't even know a lot of the actual structure of the English language, except for I've heard it for so long that I kind of use it. And a lot of times I'll do what, my mom used to say back in the day, you're just busting up verbs, right? But you understand what I'm saying. So it really doesn't matter. And that's what it really comes down to when it comes to learning a computer language. You don't have to know every computer language, and you don't have to know everything about a specific computer language, but you do need to know the basics of the language that you need to know. And what I'm telling you is, the primary language of Power BI is DAX. I can teach you the basics of DAX, and then you can understand what is the more advanced versions of DAX that you don't know, and you will know how to find and identify the information that you're looking for, because you'll understand the basics. Like, for instance, if there's a word that I don't know in the English language, I go to the dictionary and I look it up. Same concept. Same thing goes with SQL. SQL is the basics of most business intelligence platforms. Do you need to know everything about SQL? No. There's a lot that goes along with SQL that you just don't have to know just because it does not fit within the realms of Power BI or DAX. But the structure of the language of SQL is how the structure of language of DAX is built, and many of the most of the structures of DAX is built off of the structure of SQL. So understanding the basics of SQL, you're gonna be able to understand the basics of DAX, right? But do you need to know everything about SQL? No. Do you need to know everything about DAX? No. Do you need to know everything about Python? No. What do you need to know? You need to know what you need to know, at least the basics of what you need to know. Okay. And it's not very hard. Knowing the basics of any of those is not very hard. Am I a Python expert? No. Do I know how Python fits inside of Power BI? Yes. Right. And that's all I want to know about Python. I don't want to know all of the other things that have to deal with Python that don't have anything to do with Power BI. That is until we move over into artificial intelligence and Python. But this is not artificial intelligence, and building machine learning is probably not something you want to get into if you're not into business intelligence as of yet. But it is something that you can move into later on. But right now we're just talking about Power BI, we're talking about DAX, we're talking about SQL, and we're talking about Python. So what I'm here to let you know is that there's a reason that you need to know Power BI. Now, again, as I talk about, as I go through my scenario with trying to locate a garage for the vehicles that I need to park, the receptionist, the customer service, was actually a bot. It wasn't a real person. So if you're right now involved in customer service and you're actually still answering the phone, hello, this is XYZ company, Mr. Smith's office, whatever, it probably won't be long before you either need to can prove that you've upskilled yourself, or that they're going to move you around and do something different, right? And I think that Power BI is the great equalizer. And the reason why I say that is because, one, you already have the customer service skills, you already have the service rep skills, the assistant skills. Now you can apply that next level to tech. And those guys out there that are in tech right now, trust me, they are not able to do what you do. They're not able to provide the services you provide. Many of the guys in tech prefer to be alone in a dark room and working on their computers by themselves, right? Or whatever type of systems they're on. With your customer service and your service rep skills, you have an added advantage that you bring to the game when it comes to business intelligence. Because what your manager or what your boss does not know is, now you've upskilled yourself to where now you can create Power BI reports. What does that mean, Tarad? Why do I need to create a Power BI report? Because now being able, by you having the service rep knowledge, the customer service knowledge, the assistant knowledge, you're able to apply that in a manner in which artificial intelligence is just not able to do it, right? For instance, you answer the phone. How many times do you answer the phone? You answer the phone as many times as the phone rings, right? Well, how many times does the phone ring? That is data. Trust me, that is data. How many times does the phone ring in a day? How many times does the phone ring within 4 hours? How many times does the phone ring before lunch? How many times does the phone ring in an hour? How many times does the phone ring in 15 minutes? Those are things that you're able to capture, and that is visualization that you're able to build using Power BI, that now you're able to provide that in a report, in a report that your manager, your boss can see, oh, this is what's going on as far as the phone. So what type of phone system do we need? You may not need well, let me back up and say it a different way. when a salesperson comes in to sell the company a phone system, they want to find you should be able to make a determination on what type of phone system that your company needs by the data that you've collected. How long are you on the phone? How long is everyone in the office on the phone? How many minutes is everyone on the phone? There's ways that most of the sophisticated phone systems now can calculate how much time a person is on the phone. Okay, how quick they get off the phone. In some cases, it's good that a person is on the phone for a longer period of time because that shows that the potential of that sale may be there. Then in other cases, you may need to get X amount of calls in per hour, per day, per minute, whatever the case may be. There is data to be collected, and as a service rep, as a customer representative that has knowledge of Power BI, that can create Power BI reports, now you're collecting data and you're building data visualization reports. Okay, now you've upskilled your service. Who's calling in? Who's calling in? How many times are they calling in a day? How many times are they calling in a week? How many times are they calling in a month? How many times are they calling in a year? Who's calling out? How many times are they calling out in a week? How many times are they calling out in a month? How many times are they calling out in a year? Again, now you're collecting data because this is what you do. What type of products are these people asking for? Your customers are asking for when they call in and you're speaking with them. They're asking for product 1, they're asking for product 2, they're asking for product A, and they're asking for product B. How many times are they asking for these different products? What times a day are they calling for these products? Do they call for product A mostly in the morning time and product 1 in the evening time? When do they call for these products? Here's the deal. Now, rather than just taking these calls and rather than just filling these orders, now you're able to collect the data and build data visualization reports. So then you say, well, Tarad, all you're doing now is you're adding stuff to my plate, right? You're giving me more work to do. What I'm telling you is eventually the organization is going to take a phone system that can ask these questions on their own, right? So you're not necessarily going to be needed to ask the questions, right? And there's going to be a person on the tech side that's going to be able to take that data and create visualization reports and provide that in a report, a Power BI report, and say, hey, this is what we're looking at, and this is what we need to phase out, and this is what we need to add, or whatever. Okay, what I'm telling you is you can take the initiative now, and you can jump out there and you can get ahead of the game and start learning a new skill, upskilling yourself so that, when that time comes, or here's the deal. When you learn Power BI, it does not just work in your current profession or in your current workspace. Now you're valuable not only to your organization, you're valuable to other companies because now you have Power BI. Of course, you could be valuable as a customer service rep. Of course, you could be a value person as an admin person, right? But now you're saying, hey, your resume is a little bit different. I'm going to leave it there. Your resume is a little bit different. Now, I don't know what the customer service person is making today. I don't know what the admin person is making as far as pay or salary or pay rate today. But as a Power BI person, you can jump into the game requesting $50, $55 an hour. Now, I'm just going to throw that out there. You can say, hey, that's not enough money for me, right? You can say, I need to make some more money. And what I'm telling you is that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning of where this thing starts. You can use that upskill to parlay to a higher salary let me back up. Depending on what your salary currently is, you can use that to parlay your salary to a much higher salary in a much quicker amount of time than you probably would have if you didn't upscale yourself. Okay. There are going to be many individuals that are in positions that you're in right now that are saying, hey, if the boss comes in and says, we no longer need you. You know, we're moving to a new system, the system that can answer the phone and answer the questions and put the orders in all over the phone. They say, hey, you know, we're just gonna do something different. What I'm telling you is, if I were you, given that you're watching this video right now, I know that you have some interest in upskilling yourself, and I would get ahead of the game and jump out there and start learning Power BI now, to where and put you in a place to where you don't necessarily have to wait for the inevitable to happen. You can get out in front of the inevitable. You can upskill yourself. You can make a substantial amount of money a lot faster than what you might have been able to do if you didn't upskill yourself. And what I'm saying is, I can teach you Power BI in a relatively, when I say relatively, a relatively short period of time. Typically, my classes are 4 weeks. I'm not 4 weeks. My classes are 4 months, 4 weeks, a month, 16 weeks. And you know, you will have the basics of Power BI. Now, I don't want to make it seem as if this video is all about the sale. I just gave you a bunch of information as to how you can upskill yourself. Now, you could take my course or you could take somebody else's course, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, I can teach you Power BI. I can bring you through my course and teach you Power BI in a 16-week period. It's not to guarantee you that you're going to get a job off the rip, but what it is going to do is going to guarantee that you're going to upskill yourself, right? And you know, the world at that point is what old school used to say: the world is your oyster, right? Because at this point right now, today, nobody can do your job like you do your job. Nobody in your organization can do your job like you do your job. But imagine if you add a skill set like Power BI and data visualization to your skill set, to where you can add everything you currently know about your organization, about your job, and now you're able to add that with a whole nother tech skill set. Boom, you're off to the races. Now here's the deal. I mean, I'll be totally honest with you. My course is typically $2,500. It's typically $2,500, but today I'm not. Not today. I'm not gonna say today, but my course is typically $2,500. But here's the deal: for customer service representatives and admin, if you just comment admin, I am going to give you a deep discount. I'm going to give you a $2,000 discount. What I'm saying is, you can take my course for 16 weeks, 4 months, for $500. For $500. Listen, if you've ever asked yourself in the past year or 2 years or 10 years, I don't know, if you've asked yourself, if you said to yourself, hey, I want to learn tech, but I don't know where to get started in tech or how to get into tech, here's the deal. This is it. Power BI is your stepping stool into tech as you upskill what you already know. You're going to transfer the skills that you already know into tech. And I'm not expecting a big payday. I'm not charging you $2,500, $500. Now, I'm not going to do this forever. As of the date of this video, look at the timestamp of this video. Okay, look at the time. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to say until June 30th, 2025, just so it's real clear. June 30th, 2025 is going to be the last day that I'm going to extend the offer of teaching you Power BI and taking your skill set to a whole nother level for only $500. So if you got any questions, you can leave me a comment. You can reach out to me via the message. I will get back to you, promise, guaranteed. If you're like, hey, I don't have any questions, I want to upskill myself, I want to take your course, and I'm ready to get started, just comment admin, ADMIN, comment admin, ADMIN, and we are going to get you started in the power of the BI. So with that said, that's about it. Thank you for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you win again in the next video.